You know what the worst part about conquering galaxies is? The paperwork. No, seriously. 23 successful campaigns across 17 star systems, and nobody tells you about the forms. But that's getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about the day we made the biggest mistake in Draknir history. The day we grabbed Lieutenant Marcus Webb off his damaged patrol craft. It started like any other rotation. My scout vessels detected a lone fighter, drifting, engines dead. Human design. Pathetic little thing, really. All sharp angles and inefficient thrust vectors. We'd been monitoring Earth's expansion into the outer colonies for 6 cycles now. Weak species. Soft bodies. No natural armor. No venom sacs. They couldn't even survive vacuum for more than 30 seconds. Commander Vex, my second Trell, announced from his station. His scales gleamed under the bridge lights. Single life form detected. Unconscious. The craft appears disabled. I leaned back in my command throne, mandibles clicking in amusement. Well, a specimen for the laboratory. Retrieve it. Maybe the science division will finally have something interesting to dissect. Oh, how wrong I was. The retrieval team brought him aboard in a containment pod, through the transparent aluminum. I got my first look at a human up close, smaller than expected, no visible weapons, wearing some kind of flight suit covered in patches and symbols. His face was unsettling, too smooth. Too many expressions waiting to happen, and those eyes, even unconscious. There was something about them that made my secondary spine tingle. Pathetic, I muttered, though my combat instructor had taught me never to underestimate prey that looked harmless. Put him in detention cell 7. Standard restraints. Sir, Trell's tail twitched nervously. Perhaps we should use the reinforced chamber. Intelligence reports suggest humans are unpredictable. I laughed. Actually laughed. The entire bridge crew joined in. Trell, that creature masses maybe 70 kilograms. It has no claws, no scales, no poison glands. Its homeworld is a gravity well so weak they probably float when they walk. Standard restraints. That decision, right there. That's the moment I should have retired. We transferred the human to detention. I went back to my quarters, filed the preliminary reports, and thought nothing more of it. Just another specimen. Another data point. Another step toward understanding these fragile creatures before we decided whether they were worth trading with or simply eliminating. 3 hours later, the alarm started screaming. I burst onto the detention level to find absolute pandemonium. Guards were scattered across the corridor. Some unconscious, some groaning. All of them larger and better armed than the human should have been. Report, I roared. One guard, Crix, clutched his fractured arm. Commander, the human. It woke up. It studied the restraints for approximately 4 minutes. Then it what? It broke them, sir. With its bare hands. Just snapped the durasteel like dried kelp. Then it moved. Fast. Faster than anything that size should move, and it took down 7 of us before we could even draw weapons. I stared at him. You're telling me a creature with no natural armor or weapons defeated 7 trained Draknir soldiers? Crix nodded miserably. His scales had gone pale. Sir, it fought like something possessed. It used our own weight against us, turned our attacks into momentum. It was laughing, Commander. Laughing while it fought. A cold sensation crawled down my spine. Where is it now? Deck 6. Engineering section. It's moving toward the reactor core. My blood turned to ice. Our reactor. Our beautiful, catastrophically powerful reactor that could level a city if breached incorrectly. And this human was heading straight for it. I grabbed my plasma rifle and assembled my best squad. 12 warriors. All veterans. All trained in combat since their hatching. We moved through the corridors in standard formation, sensors sweeping ahead. The human was waiting for us in the main engineering bay. Just standing there, hands relaxed at his sides. That face showing teeth in what their species called a smile. Behind him, my engineering staff sat bound with their own equipment cables, completely unharmed but thoroughly restrained. Gentlemen, the human said in perfectly accented Draknir. How did it know our language? Or should I say, gentle aliens? We need to talk. I raised my rifle. You are surrounded, human. Surrender and your death will be quick. That smile got wider. See, that's where you've made your first mistake today. Well, technically your second. The first was grabbing me, but who's counting? He moved. Saints preserve us. He moved. One moment standing still, the next moment my rifle was flying across the room, and I was on the deck with my own arm twisted behind my back. I hadn't even seen him cross the distance. Here's what's going to happen, Webb said calmly. Not even breathing hard. You're going to sit down. All of you. And I'm going to explain exactly why kidnapping a human pilot was the worst decision your species has ever made. So there I was, face down on my own engineering deck, arm twisted at an angle that should not exist, watching my elite squad get systematically dismantled by a creature that weighed less than our standard combat rations. Webb had this technique. He would wait until a soldier charged, then simply step aside, just slightly, enough that the attacker's momentum carried them exactly where he wanted. Then a tap here, a push there, and suddenly trained warriors were crashing into each other like hatchlings in their first combat drill. The thing about humans, Webb said conversationally, ducking under Trell's plasma blast without even looking, is that we come from what you'd call a Class 12 death world. You know what that means. He caught Trell's second punch, redirected it into another guard's face, and kept talking. Like this was a lecture, not a fight. It means everything on Earth is trying to kill us. The weather, the animals, the plants, even the microscopic organisms. We evolved to survive conditions that would liquefy most species. He released my arm and I scrambled backward, mandibles hanging open in shock. And you thought standard restraints would hold me? The laughter in his voice was worse than any battle roar I'd ever heard. Crix, brave stupid Crix, activated his shock baton and charged from behind. Webb spun, and I swear by the ancient fires, he moved like liquid. The baton hit nothing but air. Webb's elbow hit Crix's jaw. My second best warrior dropped like a stone. Gravity on Earth? Webb continued, now facing all of us while backing toward the reactor controls. 1.0 standard. Your world. I checked your database. 0.7 standard. I'm literally 30% stronger here than at home, and I feel light as air. He actually laughed. This is like fighting in a bounce house. What do you want? I managed to croak out. My pride was shattered, but survival instinct was kicking in. This was no specimen. This was an apex predator, and we'd locked it in a cage with us. Webb's expression shifted. The smile stayed, but his eyes went cold. What do I want? I want you to understand something very, very clearly, Commander Vex. He tapped a claw against the reactor housing. The sound echoed ominously. I'm a pilot, bottom tier of Earth's military hierarchy. I fly transports. I deliver supplies. I am, by human military standards, basically a space trucker with a uniform. He let that sink in. My scales prickled with horrified realization. Now imagine, Webb continued softly, what our actual soldiers are like. Our Marines, our special forces, the ones who are bred for combat, trained from childhood, enhanced with technology you can't even imagine. He started counting on his fingers. We have soldiers who can survive vacuum, soldiers who can tear through ship hulls with their bare hands, soldiers who make me look like a harmless pet. Trell made a choking sound. That's impossible, is it? Webb gestured at the bound engineering crew, then at my scattered guards. Was this impossible? I've been awake for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And I've neutralized your entire security detail, accessed your computer systems, learned your language, analyzed your ship's weaknesses, and basically made myself comfortable, all before breakfast. He walked over to one of the engineering consoles, his movements casual now, relaxed, like we were no threat at all. Your intelligence reports on humanity are catastrophically incomplete, Commander. You saw our civilian ships, our transport vessels, our colony freighters. You assumed we were soft, weak, easy prey. Webb pulled up a holographic display. Images flickered to life. Human warships. Massive things, bristling with weapons I couldn't identify. This is the UNSC Vengeance. Dreadnought class. It can glass a planet from orbit. This is the Titan station. It manufactures battle mechs the size of your entire ship. And this, he zoomed in on a group of armored figures. This is 1st Recon Battalion. They eat species like yours for light snacks. My heart sank into my stomach. All 8 of them. So here's what's going to happen, Webb said, his tone shifting from friendly to absolutely serious. You're going to drop me off at the nearest neutral station. You're going to forget you ever saw me. And you're going to send a priority message to your Concordat leadership with a very simple recommendation. He leaned close to me, those terrifying human eyes locked on mine. Leave humanity alone. Forever. Because if you don't, if you make the catastrophically stupid decision to escalate this, you won't be fighting pilots and transport drivers anymore. You'll be fighting us, a new voice said. We all turned. Standing in the engineering bay entrance were 3 figures in pitch black armor. Human armor. Covered in weapons and equipment that made our plasma rifles look like children's toys. Their helmets reflected our bridge lights like mirrors. Lieutenant Webb, the center figure said. You okay? Just peachy, Sergeant Cross. Webb replied cheerfully. Made some new friends. They were just about to give me a ride home. The armored humans didn't move. But somehow the temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. That right, Commander Vex? Sergeant Cross asked. You feeling hospitable? I found my voice. Barely. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. We would be honored to provide transportation and communication services and anything else required. Please don't kill us. Webb grinned. See? Diplomacy works. He walked past me, paused and patted my shoulder. The casual touch made me flinch. Horde of advice, Commander. Next time you see a disabled human ship, keep flying. Trust me on this. And that, future historians, is how Lieutenant Marcus Webb, a transport pilot, single-handedly convinced the Draknir Concordat to sign a non-aggression pact with humanity. We escorted them to the docking bay. We gave them supplies. We practically begged them to take our best ration packs. And as their assault shuttle departed, I stood at the viewport watching, mandibles trembling. Trell approached cautiously. Sir, what do we tell High Command? I turned to him, scales still pale. The truth, that we encountered a human, a pilot, the weakest type of their warriors, and that if we ever engage humanity in warfare, we'll be extinct within a stellar cycle. 3 weeks later, the Concordat Senate voted unanimously for peaceful relations. Some called it cowardice. I call it survival, because I've seen what their pilots can do, and I never want to meet their soldiers.